Welcome to eBritish Ielts. So today we'll be talking about a very important thing that most students of Ielts often request us as teachers to explain to them. So we'll be talking about how to manage your time effectively when it comes to the reading module in particular. So in the reading module, children often come up to me as a teacher and tell me that, ma'am, we could not finish our reading because we had 10 questions left over, but the time ran out. We had 5 questions left over, the time wasn't enough. We couldn't find a few answers, we got confused, and we kind of started thinking about it, and the time ran out. We were left with 2 more questions. So this is an oft quoted problem that we as IELTS trainers, as IELTS teachers often come across. So today I'll be talking about how to effectively manage your reading time and how to make sure you get the maximum usage out of the 1 hour allotted to you. Now, when it comes to reading, of course, there'll be academic students as well. There will be general training students as well. So for the academic module, the reading pattern is slightly different. For the general training module, the reading pattern is slightly different. The method in which we attempt it, that remains very similar. The kinds of questions, they are very similar. But in the academic part, you will have 3 distinct sections with 3 distinct passages. Whereas for the GT session, the general training session, you will have 3 sections divided into 5 passages in all. So the time management trick also varies for both the types. So let's talk about the academic module first, then I'll move on to the GT. So for the academic module, you will have 3 sections with 3 different paragraphs given to you, 3 different essays. So your job is to make sure you attempt all of them. There will be 40 questions in all. And here you do not have the luxury of those 10 extra minutes that you get in your paper pen based IELTS listening test. Here you will have to transfer your answers side by side. So if we talk about this, you're going to divide your time in 15, 20 and 25 minutes. In the first 15 minutes, utilize that time to answer the questions related to the easiest essay you can come across amongst the 3 given to you, of course. And how do we decipher what is easy for us? So read the headings. You'll be able to understand what interests you, what is up your alley, what do you understand more, where do you have more, which do you have more affinity towards, basically, right? So whatever you think is easy for you to attempt. Now this will be very personal for everybody. So whatever you think is the easiest, attempt that first and give it 15 minutes of your time. Whatever you think is of an average level of difficulty, that you are slightly interested in it but not too interested in it, attempt that second in number and give it 20 minutes of your time. Whatever you think is the most boring, it's the most difficult, something which is dragged on, something which doesn't interest you at all, attempt that in the end and give it 25 minutes of your time. So 15, 20, 25. That is how we bifurcate the complete 1 hour given to you. And in this time itself, you are transferring the answers side by side in your answer sheet. Otherwise, you will lose out on writing the answers down, and whatever you found, that is going to get lost in not transferring, let's put it that way, right? So 15, 20, 25, that helps you complete 1 hour for the academic part. For the GT students, it's going to be slightly different. In GT, 3 sections are given to you, but those 3 sections are divided into a total of 5 passages. The first 2 sections will have 2 passages each, and the third section will have 1 lengthy passage, which is very similar in nature to what an academic reading passage looks like. So in GT reading, what we ask you to do as teachers is to attempt the third section first. The third section is the most lengthy section. It is kind of boring for you to attempt at times. So do that first, get it out of your way. Devote 20 minutes of your time in doing that section. For the remaining 2 sections, 20 minutes each should suffice. Because the passages given to you, they are very basic in nature. The material, that is very well distributed. The location of the answers, that is kind of easy to find in comparison to when we talk about the third section in particular. So 10 minutes per passage should be more than enough time for you to look at where the answer is, decipher what the question is asking, pick an answer out accordingly, and you'll be able to manage it. So 20 minutes each for each section. Attempt the third section first, then the first and the second. That is how you can maximize your time management skills for reading. Now, one common mistake that people tend to make with the reading module is that they'll start attempting it like a comprehension that they might have done in school or college. Now, this is slightly different. In IELTS reading as a module, We are checking your in-depth understanding of whether you understand the question or not, and can you decipher what the answer has to be or not. But do not waste time in reading the entire passage. We will not ask you subjective questions that you need to have a complete idea of what the passage talks about. So one trick we always tell you to keep in mind is skimming and scanning. Skimming and scanning becomes very important because this helps you identify where your answer is located and save on time as well. So how do we attempt our reading questions basically? Don't waste time in reading the passage. Read the question and the instructions first. Read the instructions, understand what the question wants you to do. Then read question 5, for example. Read question 5, underline the keywords of question 5. Now, whatever those keywords are, based on the keywords, try to come back to your passage, skim and scan through the text. You will be able to come across either the same keyword that you've underlined or a very close synonym of the keyword that is supplied to you. So the moment you find the keyword, read 2 lines above that area, 2 lines below that area. You'll be able to figure your answer out. If not, continue skimming and scanning through the text for those words in particular. The next area where you find those words, 2 lines above that, 2 lines below that, read through it. You'll be able to make sense of whether your answer is from there or not. So that is how we optimize the time. We do not waste our time for reading. Skim and scan through the text. You'll be able to figure out where your answer is from, and you'll be able to decipher the exact answer based on the instruction of the questions. So that is something you should be keeping in mind while attempting your reading module. Now, reading as a module is very easy. It is very scoring since it is very objective by nature. So if you want to affect your overall band score, if you want to give it a boost, make sure you understand carefully how to manage your time. And I'm very sure keeping this in mind will help you optimize your reading time. Thank you.